the meeting with a brief moment of silence or prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flag. No one is required to participate or be present for any of these, and being in this portion of the meeting is completely voluntary. Caleb, you have the prayer and pledge this week.
All right, thank you. For you, our heads. Lord, we're just so thankful to be here, so thankful to be able to look at this information and try to do what's best for our district. We just ask, Father, that you give us wisdom and you help us to follow after your will, Lord, that we would do what's in the best interest of these students, to set our thoughts aside, Lord, and just to be able to do the things that are going to lift up this district. We thank you for all that you're doing. We ask for your wisdom again this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. And I have a very special guest leading us in the pledge this evening. That would be Miss Dawn Williams, and she will be taking us home.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First up, we have the agenda. I'll give you just a moment to take a look at that, and if anybody's got any questions or comments.
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Rosales.
And Dr. Sullivan, I apologize in advance for not asking you, and I'm asking you for the cameras. But I got some questions in regards to the school funds. So for I'm just gonna take just picking one, not because I'm picking at this, but let's say there's a coach or a coach or assistant coach, and it says school funds, football. I was under the impression that was a separate fund. It's not necessarily the operational funds that comes from what we get from TISA and
Correct.
things like that. That is totally separate funding that the schools get that we.
It's what they've raised themselves.
Exactly, it's what raised. Thank you. I just wanted that to be said because I was getting some questions about that.
And just know that is on top of whatever their normal stipend is that is approved as part of our salary schedule. This is what clubs are paying, or sports on top of it.
Okay, but I think.
It's not county money, it's all
Right,
raised fundraising.
it's all raised, yes. But I think because it said school funds, I was
Yep.
asked some questions about that, and I just wanted to get the clarification of where that funding came from.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
Mr. Ball.
not smart as tool in the shed, but over here where it says, say Stewart Creek High School, school funds band. My sister was in the band, but what in the world is that? Where it's got competition, what?
Adjudication.
What is that?
It's for their competition.
Judging.
Yeah.
Judging.
And it's not to exceed that amount. And so if they go above that amount, they have to come back. But these are the people that are there working.
So that's okay. It's a good lesson learned. So if you paying the judges, you ought to do pretty good, right?
Hope so.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, Ms.
I'm
Darby.
guessing we're discussing the consent agenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because I'm curious, Dr. Sullivan, can you speak a little bit to the special education employees and how,
Yep.
were they not included in like the coding that y'all had to provide and stuff?
They were,
Meaning,
so-
like the state didn't.
Yes, so great question. So these are 101 special education employees. So they were included on the list that we sent to the state, but the state, they meet all the qualifications. The way that our special education staff is, if they were, best way to explain it, if they were assigned to one school, then they received a bonus. But if they, let's say the school psychologists served 2 or 3 schools because the school was smaller, they're considered a central office employee, and so the state removed those people from getting payment. So they're on the list we sent, but then, so you had half of the group receiving it, and then the other half not. We missed our appeal window with the state. They sent it in the middle of July, or the beginning of July, 4th of July week to appeal. And so Dr. Ralston, Dr. Bogan worked to be able to use some of our federal carryover funds to be able to make sure that we got that taken care of.
Wow.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I appreciate y'all doing that for them.
Yep.
That's crazy.
No, because you look at it, it's a large mixture of people, And that was the frustrating part to some. Let's just take behavior teachers. Some behavior teachers got it, some didn't. And it was strictly based on how we had them placed, so that didn't seem fair.
Yeah. The other question, can you remind me again, the Title III funds can
Yep.
be spent in what, on what, in what areas?
It is all English as a second language. And so this is a continuation of what the board approved last meeting. We had approved teachers to be able to teach the classes. This is adding EAs. And so we had a couple questions, so I'm just going to read what Title III, the funding application states.
Okay.
And so the funding application asks, describe how the LEA will provide and implement effective activities and strategies that enhance or supplement language instruction, educational programs for English learners, which shall include parent, family, and community engagement activities as required under ESEA 311.5C3. And so it is part of our application that we have to include. Going back, as Ms. Turnbull, our ESL coordinator, go back in E-Plan, we have this continuation since at least fiscal year 20, which would have been a 2019 school year. And we had lots of schools last year, and this year we have 2.
So we have less schools this
Yes.
year?
Yeah, because Title III is one that is not guaranteed for the future. We have the funds for this year.
Okay.
And so if we have additional funds like we did last year, adding several in the spring, then we may come back and do that, add that in the spring. But it is a program that we're watching to see what happens with Title III funds. Not for this current year, but next fiscal year.
And is this the first time we're going to be doing a program like this one? Or is this one we've been
This is
doing?
one we have been doing for, again, at least since 2019-20.
Okay.
Same, Smyrna Primary from my notes comes in and out of when we have Smyrna Primary, but Smyrna Elementary we've used. Smyrna High School we've used. Last year we had Roy Water and Stewart's Creek, Cedar Grove, Laverne Lake, and a large number of others as well.
Are there any other questions regarding the consent agenda? We kind of moved on to that. Okay, let's move on to Rutherford Proud.
That'll be Thursday.
Thursday. I'm excited to meet them. And then we have the RCS Strong Staff Awards.
That'll be Thursday
That's
as well.
Thursday as well. And tonight, we have a guest speaker. Representative Mike Sparks would like to meet with us and present his proposal. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Thank you, members and Dr. Sullivan. Needless to say, being on the school board is a tough job. I was quoted in the paper about 2 years ago saying, I don't know why anybody will serve on the school board, and it's one of the toughest jobs out there. And the Tennessean printed my comments, but it's probably tougher now than it was 10 years ago, 30 years ago, or 50 years ago. But speaking of tough jobs, one reason I want to speak here is about school bus drivers and the challenges that they have. I was here last year presenting this legislation, House Bill 84, which I think can help alleviate some of the crisis that we see of shortage of drivers. Tennessee, people may not know, Tennessee is the most restrictive in the nation to drive a school bus. And you might think, how in the world could Tennessee be the most bureaucratic state in the nation to drive a school bus? We're also the most restrictive in the world. And someone's welcome to fact check me, more restrictive than Cuba, Russia, Iran, and other countries. And really where this stemmed from was that terrible bus crash in Chattanooga where 6 children lost their lives. That guy that was driving the school bus, I'll argue, shouldn't have been driving the school bus. They had multiple complaints from students, from parents, from other drivers about his reckless behavior. And sadly, somebody should have intervened before those 6 students lost their lives. But the state of Tennessee, in their infinite wisdom, their idea was to simply change the age to 25. The guy was 24. And the challenge with this bill, we pass on the House side. I don't want to leave no stone unturned going into session next year. And I could wait till January to try to meet with y'all, but we go so fast, as y'all know. It failed the Senate by just one simple vote. And we worked it a lot harder on the House side, and I probably shouldn't have took for granted that it was going to be okay on the Senate side. But David Settles, who drives the school bus, who's, I believe, Vice Chairman of the Murfreesboro City School Board, just got off the phone with him. He couldn't be here tonight because he had his own meeting. he's in support. He testified on this bill. And also TSBA, I just got off the phone with Ben Torres. They looked at the resolution today. They're in support. And I'm hoping that I can get an affirmative vote from y'all maybe at your next board meeting, and then take this to the county commission. Because I go before that chairman, and remember, I'm undoing the chairman's bill. Both chairmen of the transportation, that was their bill, changing the age. So that's the challenge, is I'm undoing their bill, and I'm also going against the Department of Safety, which is very disappointing with them, which that's a whole nother issue. For the record, their customer service reviews is 1.6. Comcast is 1.8. You know, seriously. I mean, you can't get no worse than Comcast. I shouldn't say that on camera, but it is. But that's the state of Tennessee. That's very frustrating, you know. Anyways, that's simply what it is. And I want to thank Representative Robert Stevens for amending it, because originally it was 21, but we went to 23 to try to appease some folks. And these people are really shrewd, they're really smart, and what they did, they just done an end around us and went to the Senate, and it lost by 1 vote. So you have a copy of the resolution. It's pretty simple. And I've also reached out to the Beacon Center, who's a free market think tank, for their support. I'm hoping this will be one of their key issues for next year. But I also appreciate all the feedback that I've got from board members, from other staffers, and from Dr. Sullivan, and also drivers who have reached out to me as well. But that's simply what this resolution is.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Mr.
I'd just like to add a little bit to what you said. It is the most restrictive, but even at 23, it would still be the most restrictive state in the United States. So I did a little bit of research on that. You brought it to me and mentioned some different things. Even if you brought it on 23, it'd still be the highest, which that is a compromise. I understand what you're doing, and that would bring in some more to the fold. Also, I think it's important to look at this from a different angle of not just the age and being the most restrictive, but also that there is an aging out of bus drivers, and that we are going to have a flow if we want that to not be a crisis in the future. You need to really think about, because a lot of young people, they start making kind of having a career decision well before that 25. You know, they're getting to jobs 18, 19, 20, 21 in terms of their career. And they're not going to turn around and drop the bus if they've already started on the pathway. So I support this resolution, and I think it'll be good for us to look at it. And even if it passes at 23, or if it passes at 21, school districts can still decide individually if they want to make those. They can make it more restrictive, but lowering it would give a little bit more help to districts that need it, including ours.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Mr. Rosales.
Thank you. Representative Sparks, can you speak into why did the safety department agree to increasing the age limit to 25? Is there a reason why?
Well, it was over that Chattanooga bus crash, and it's a very sensitive issue.
Sure.
One of the chairmen, he's from that area, so you can imagine 6 deaths, multiple families, who I'm sure are calling him that don't want this bill to pass. But, you know, my argument is that young man shouldn't have dropped the school bus.
Sure.
Someone should intervene. And I'm really disappointed in Tennessee that was their solution, was to change the age. And it's disappointing, but, you know, government's going to disappoint you, especially state government sometimes, you know. I'm sure some of y'all get disappointed.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because just to see from providing context as to the reason why it was increased, if there was like data or something. But anyways, I do see a need to try to increase the pipeline because there is shortages. Even Wilson County right now is looking into changing their bell times and starting and ending and staggering the times because they're in a worse shape than we are, and they have severe shortages when it comes to bus drivers. And they've been dealing with this for at least 2 years now.
Yes.
And then with us, we had some unfulfilled routes that we didn't have drivers. And even at the beginning of this year, when we started, we had some issues with contractors finding bus drivers, and one contractor had to give up the contract because he couldn't find the bus contractor. the bus drivers. So I'm in favor of increasing the pipeline. This seems to help with that, with increasing the pipeline. I know you spoke with David Settles.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to other bus drivers?
Yes, I had Clarissa Smith, Cindy
That's
Montgomery,
okay.
Cindy Phillips to Montgomery, who I went to school with. I stay in touch with her and some other drivers as well. Everyone seems to be in support. But going back on the argument of who are better drivers, the older ones or younger ones, that kept coming up. There's a Representative Lowell Russell, great guy, former state trooper. He was hurt really bad in a trooper collision on the side of, I believe it was I-40, if I'm not mistaken. And he got me the data that supports that really the driving problems are usually from the older drivers, not the younger drivers. And I know that can get a little controversial, Sam, but he has the data. We presented the data. David witnessed that data, and so did the Tennessee Department of Safety as well.
And then with us, with the county, we have a 2-year purgatory period. So just because they get the for them to be even on a contract, you have to be a driver for 2 years under someone. So what would you like for us to do?
Well, anything dealing with school buses that we can help, and I'll talk to Stan the other day after some drivers reached out to me about the vetting process and the background checks. I reached out to TBI. They said they're pretty fast on the response, but if there's areas there that we can help with the state, let us know because an owner called me that was going to hire somebody. By the time all the information got back, they said they couldn't wait. They went back and started driving over the road. So if there's process in place that we need to work on, I'll be happy to file a caption bill for next year that could help.
But what would you like us to do as a board?
I guess this would be on your agenda Thursday night. Is that right?
Okay. Do you want us to support the resolution?
Yeah, just pass a resolution. Because the school boards really pull a lot of weight. People don't like to go against their school boards. They don't like to go against their county commission. So if I have a resolution in support, that helps me. My delegations are very supportive, but it's the Chattanooga, that area right there, and the chairman's bill that we're undoing. And then I have the Department of Safety that's actively working against this. And just remind you, their customer service ratings is 1.6 out of 5. So they have an F. That's an F. No business would survive with that type of customer service level. And no business would be this bureaucratic on drivers and survive in the marketplace. So now if y'all just simply yes or no, and I'll forward to the county commission. I don't know, do y'all have a liaison that goes to the commission? Is there like a liaison?
Oh, and it goes.
It's okay.
He's our liaison.
He's our liaison.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
But, so this is the resolution. that you
Yes,
want
ma'am.
us To vote for.
Yes, ma'am. If that's on your agenda Thursday, that's good.
We'll take it up Thursday.
Well, yes, that'd be great.
Okay, Mr. Tidwell first, and then I'll get you both, I promise.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Mr. Tidwell.
Yeah, I was just going to say about that particular incident, which is a very sad incident, but the punishment, I shouldn't say punishment, the law doesn't match like the crime because as I was reading about it, he was speeding and on a cell phone. So, that was what the issue was. You think you would have like more restrictive consequences for people being on their cell phones while driving rather than just raising the age. Just didn't make sense to me, and it doesn't align with what's going on around the rest of the nation. I don't think we just have the worst young drivers in the nation. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yes, Ms. Sharp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Sparks, would you mind emailing us that information that you got from the state trooper so we can?
Oh, yeah, the data.
review that? Yes.
I sure can.
Yes, thank you so much.
Ms. Darby.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming. I was actually just going to ask the same thing Sharp did. As long as it doesn't increase risk, it sounds like it would be favorable for our county, so I would be interested to look at that data.
Okay. I'll get it to y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for coming about this.
Thank y'all. All right. Y'all have a great night.
And next is public comments. We don't have any tonight. They'll be Thursday. Next, we have instruction, and Dr. Sullivan is going to present the middle school rezoning review.
Yeah, so just a reminder, because we do have 2 new board members who weren't part of this. So this is what was approved in the winter of 2023, and the board has a copy of this, and then we'll have it displayed as well. No changes need to be made right now. We're being requested. This is just for our review as we go into RSP, so that everyone knows kind of what our timeline is. We'll review this tonight. RSP will have our data set on Friday is their date. They'll pull our data set with all our enrollment numbers. Then they will take that and coordinate new proposed changes based on what has changed over the last 2 years since this was passed. And they'll present to us on November 4th. We'll have a work session. We'll have a month to get input from the board, community, the principals as well, and then pass it in December, right around the same time that we're naming the principal for the schools, what we usually like to do for this to go into effect. There's a couple things I just wanted to review real quick. So, John, if you can pull this up. I think it's page 30. Yeah, it's on what I emailed you to. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I'll go over that again on Thursday then. So what the board has in front of them is what, if you can pull up, it is. Yep, that one. So this is what the board approved back in 2023. The board has a copy from the presentation of November of 2023. There's a couple areas that we know that we're going to have to shift, and I'm going to read you all some new enrollment numbers based on what was projected versus where actual enrollment is. And I'll email this to everybody too. Blackman Middle School right now is at 1,777 students. They were projected to be at 1,731. Christiana Middle is at 1051. They're projected to be at 1,119. Laverne Middle is at 1,062. They're projected to be at 1,239. So Laverne's dropped the last 2 years. Oakland Middle is at 1,239. They were projected to be at 1,084. So they've grown. Rock Springs Middle is at 1,131. They were at 1,276. Rockville Middle, 1,642, projected at 1,683. Rocky Fork Middle was exact, 882 to 882. Siegel Middle was almost exact, 1,209 to 1,202. Smyrna Middle was close, 886 to 915. Stewart's Creek Middle was close, 1087 to 1057. Whitworth is still small, 780, and they were projected to be at 931. And so pretty close overall, so we know that we're going to have to shift some things. The ones that we definitely are going to have to look at is Rockville Middle and Blackman Middle. Those schools, based on what we approved in 2023, it was dropping Blackman Middle to around 1,250, and Rockville Middle was staying around 1,600. And so Rockville Middle does not have an annex. They do have additional classrooms. They don't have an additional gym, additional bathrooms. Blackman Middle does. That is going to push some traditional Rockville families back to Blackman where they were before we opened Rockville Middle and Rockville High. The other part to look at is possibly the downtown area. We split up the downtown for high schools. That may be something we need to look at. This zoning proposal is different, and it puts most of downtown between Whitworth, Buchanan, and Oakland, which is where it was when those two schools opened. But we have shifted it since then to incorporate Rockville, Christiana, Blackman, and Siegel. So we may need to look at that. The problem is that Oakland Middle has enrollment capacity above 1,500, and so them and Siegel Middle were 20, 25 kids of each other, and Oakland Middle has the annex. And so you're taking previously Siegel parents and moving them to Oakland Middle to then send them back to Siegel High School. I don't love that, but it's what we dealt with when we had the high school portions as well. We have to get more students to Oakland with that annex. And so you've got to take them from somewhere, but if you take them from Whitworth, that is our smallest middle school. And so usually it's going to have to come from that Siegel side or downtown. And right now we have it as the downtown area. So just a couple areas that we're going to have to look at. Nothing outside of those two areas. This wasn't getting passed, but the board in that motion did say 6 months before implementation that we would go back and review. And so we'll have new data analysis. Those are just the ones that, looking at them, kind of stick out. You all have a presentation that says recommended middle school zones 26, 27. That's what was passed. Then you have the middle school and high school projections on the next sheet. And again, this is 2 years old. And they do have Blackman Middle at like 1325, but leaving Rockville Middle at 1488. And so just too big at Rockville.
Dr. Sullivan?
Yes.
I know RSP is probably going to make some recommendations, but I understand what you're saying about Siegel going to Siegel and transferring over to Neon back to Siegel. What about shifting from the south? If you said Whitworth is one of the more open schools, one of the smaller schools, and Christiana is a little overflowed, can Christiana shift, would some Whitworth shift up toward Oakland Middle and then
And then
Christiana
Rockville shifts?
shift a little bit to Whitworth?
You could. What we're going to run into is a little bit of the demographics and poverty level. We're going to have to watch if let's just say Oakland Middle, for example, goes all the way over to John Bragg Highway. Now you have Oakland taking all of the downtown area. Because right now you click on the 24, 25, so you can see how we have it split up right now. And then click off of 26, 27. You can see right now we have downtown split between multiple schools, and already Oakland's taken a large section of that. Oakland is growing because of the new developments off of Highway 96 towards Las Casas, but not enough that there's no way that I could recommend logistically to have Siegel Middle School with all those portables and have just 3 miles down the road open seats. And that's where we are right now. We call them the colleges at Siegel.
I'm
So
interested
even
to
with-
hear what the reservation recommendation.
Even with the new middle school opening, that's not going to relieve much for Siegel.
No, Siegel students are going to have to shift over to Oakland, which was part of the discussion when Oakland Middle's annex opened, but the board at that time chose not to. And so we are left with
Okay, we'll see what the recommendations are.
And what year did they receive their annex?
819. Oakland Middle annex would have been 2019.
That's about right.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, I don't have that exact year.
Okay.
But just for discussion, we have some decisions to make around middle school, and we'll probably need to shift a little bit of that Stewart's Creek and Browns Chapel zone as well, once we're looking at this.
For the elementary school?
Yep.
What are the numbers for the Stewart's Creek
Middle
elementary?
elementary.
Elementary.
I can pull it up when we're talking about other stuff.
Okay.
Can you pull it?
Any
Yes.
questions? Anybody else? This is not going to be easy.
Never is with rezoning, but at least we should celebrate that we're getting a new middle school. And it's not
That's
a
right.
rezone when
Yes,
you go in.
Mr. Vaughn.
The one observation I would make, just looking at these maps and looking where we're headed, from being involved with the school bus, is also, this is the reason my mind's on this, is from a logistics standpoint, from a transportation standpoint, our choke point in this county is I-24. And so I believe anything we can do to keep schools on one side or the other will, in the long term, help parents, will help school bus transportation, will help drivers, will help the overall traffic flow in this county. So I appreciate, and we need to strive to balance and utilize every seat we can. But I do think that the public would appreciate, they would give us a little grace, to deviate from that ideal, dollar for dollar, student for student at every facility. I think they would, just to save transportation, just to save traffic in the morning, traffic in the afternoon. That's just an overall observation, I would say. I would throw in.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, I would agree, but if we move scoot up a little bit, go north a little bit. If we were to move all of, let's use I-24 and take that Blackman Middle section out between 840 all the way down to Old Fort, there's no way to do something, because then Siegel would have to take them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think consciously
can I ask, when we open Poplar Hill Middle?
Potentially.
Or potentially whatever the name of the school is going to be, what number do you feel comfortable with opening with it? Because that's kind of
It'll be
been,
close to 1,000.
okay.
It needs to
okay.
be.
So
to
that
relieve-
definitely will take from Blackman Middle.
And then Rockville's going to have to shift over.
Okay.
Looking at some of Rockville, to get enough students, you're going to have to look almost where it is you're looking at the Case and Lane area. You're going to have to pull back into Blackman, which it was forever ago, but it's been a long time since that's been Blackman.
Yes, Ms. Darby.
I'm assuming, and I'm hoping that they have, do you know if they have done research or gone back out to see what?
Oh, they have.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He's here again. I think he's here already because I meet with him tomorrow to go over some things too.
Okay.
So, yep, they've been here.
It's frightening still, 2 years later. So.
Yep.
Any other questions?
And this is what we're going to be discussing at a retreat.
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So this is just preliminary information.
Just, we have 2 board members who weren't informed when we passed this. So I
Gotcha.
just wanted this back out to the public again. And then we as well, for every school that is potentially impacted by the rezone, we're going to put kind of like Murfreesboro City, we're going to steal from them. We're going to put a yard sign in each one of those schools. This school is potentially impacted by rezoning.
Good, so
You
they'll
won't go
know.
to that. So
Okay.
truly should not be an excuse that nobody knew.
Well, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, if there's no other questions, we will move on to number 2.
This is David Urey and Laverne Lake Elementary. They're requesting to partner with Better Lessons for Professional Development Plan throughout the 25-26 school year. Expeditionary Learning, or EL, which is our current English language arts adoption for elementary schools, and Better Lessons will work with our administrators and teachers from both faculties to improve instruction using our Tier 1 curriculum. The plan will include an in-person baseline learning walk with administrators, provide in-person workshops with teachers, and in-person learning walks in the building. Funding for this plan will not exceed $60,500 for the 2 schools and is coming from Title I.
Okay. Any
This-
questions?
This is being requested by myself and our instruction department, so this is something we're pushing at these 2 schools.
Okay. Number 9, engineering and construction.
Number 9, this is City of Laverne and Waldron Road realignment request. The City of Laverne is working to realign and widen Waldron Road at Rock Springs Elementary. JMT Property Services represents the City of Laverne in the purchase of properties for the Waldron Road widening project. Proposal includes several different parts of land for RCS, including 97/100ths of an acre for permanent slope utility easements, 76/100ths of an acre, and temporary construction easements of 1.34 acres. The offer is $215,595 and is based on value for the property at $75,000 per acre. There's a bonus if signed within 30 days to add $21,560 for a total of $237,160. Engineering Construction reviewed the request and has no objections. Trey, you want to add to that? Because I know we've been working on this for a little while.
It's been a pretty good while, John. You pull up those slides I sent you. I'm not going to bore you with an inch of documentation that is part of what you've been provided. I have pulled out a couple of things just to call your attention to. The first 2 pages are the appraisals report. It tells you the intended use, the description of the land acquired, that kind of thing. And basically that tells us those acreages that were a part of the motion are what is referenced here. The second page shows you the drawing from Reagan and Smith, the 5 areas, area 1, 2, and 3, and then up at the top is 4, where those areas are. They're actually, and I don't want to use the term flattening, but that's pretty much what they're doing. They're taking some of that curve out where the pond in front of the school is, and basically they're going to use it. That's the biggest portion that they're purchasing from us, is basically from the pond to the existing road. A lot of drawings, documents, surveys, that kind of thing. The next slide that I pulled out, there again, this would be the southernmost point going toward Rock Springs Road. That yellow temporary construction easement, that is our current entrance, to give you kind of a map of where we are. And the blue is permanent easement. That's what they're purchasing for the road. The green is slope easement, meaning they have to change the elevation.
and they're purchasing that permanent, then yellow is temporary. The next page would be going on to the next section. That's where you would see the largest area, that blue area. That's what they would be purchasing from us. The others are either temporary or permanent slope easements. Next page, John. There again, that gets us on up. That's Lake Road to the top where you see the green, kind of orient you as to what they're doing. That elevation is going to change drastically. While the road stays in the same location, it's going to drop about 15 to 17 feet, which is going to require utility relocations. And that's part of why they've got some of the temporary construction entrances, easements that they have, because they got to relocate water lines. There's been a lot of conversations between their designer, the city of Laverne, and us on how they will keep water and gas and sewer to our building while this goes on. There's some new services that are being provided that is coming from the Williamson County side of Lake Road. There's some new subdivisions that are tying into Lake Road, and they're basically bringing those services back to us from the backside. So there's been a lot of work there. Next slide, John. The next slide is basically, that's where you turn in off of Lake Road to the, as I call it, the side parking lot, where the annex and all that is. That's the work there. There again, same thing. Yellow is temporary, green is permanent, is the permanent slope easements. Blue is property, just a sliver there. And then the permanent drainage easements, meaning they're going to put some pipes and things under the ground. And also that's part of the water line, things that they'll be relocating as well. The next slide I had for you is kind of how they came up with their 75 and all their properties that they utilized and all the sales of the properties around us are all in this document so that you can find all these numbers, and how they came up with the $75,000 per acre is also on that page at the bottom, right there. The next page is basically that I pulled out for you is there again, they counted trees, things that we lost that they have to put back. It's all part of the evaluation that they've asked for. Next page, John. This is basically the summation of how they determined the land at $75,000 an acre. My notes on the side, just to help you as you looked at those first few documents, 0.97, 0.35, 0.41, and 1.34. That is $600. Then the last page that we have as part of the slideshow is where they provide all of the breakdown. It is their official offer that shows the $21,000 additional funds if this is signed within 30 days. All of these documents and many, many more are part of your packet. Mr. Reed has reviewed all of these documents. If you have any legal questions, he would be happy to answer those. But based on the market, based on what they're doing, personally, I think it's a fair offer.
Yes, Ms. Darby?
I'm just curious, looking here, it says this offer includes payment for the following improvements, the oak trees, driveway, and light poles. So are they going to be replacing those, or
Yes.
they're giving us the money for them and
They
then
will
we
be
have to?
replacing.
Okay. It just sounds weird. Worded that way.
Any other questions?
Do you know when they're going to start all of this?
Soon. It's out for bid. It's fixing to be out for bid soon. It's a 3-year project. It's not going to be fun from a transportation standpoint for a couple of years.
Thank you, Ms. Darby. Next, we have number 2, school nutrition.
School nutrition job description revision. School nutrition department's updating the current position listed as a field manager to align with the current role. The position has been listed as a field manager and has been performing the duties of commodities and contact specialist. Nutrition has drafted a job description that's in line with the current duties assigned to this position. It's not a request to add a position, change funding, salaries, anything, just an updated job description.
Any questions? Okay, next we have director's update, but that's,
I will do an academic performance presentation. It'll just be growth in what we know is out there already, because report card information is later. But I want to go over what TVOS is, how it's calculated, and our performance, so everyone has a good baseline.
okay. Next we have general discussion, and I just want to say something. A couple of weeks ago, I said something about highlighting different people and different former students of ours. And being the big Vol fan that I am, I was keenly fixed on at the game for the Georgia-Tennessee game. And I want you to know that there are 4 young men from Rutherford County on Tennessee's team, although they were not victorious.
Go Vols.
But Dwayne Morris from Oakland, Caleb Herring from Riverdale, and Aaron Carter for Smyrna did us proud. They were wonderful. And I also want to call out the gentleman he goes to MTCS, but Mr. Jesse Perry is starting on the line as a freshman. So Rutherford County has got a very good reputation for sports, and it was really good to see them all out there. So I just want to say that real quick. Yes, Ms. Sharp.
Thank you. I don't see Mr. Evans here, but today we had a huge sponsorship announcement, and I would like to thank the following people. I'm just going to name the companies because if I start naming names of people, I'm going to forget somebody. So DeWalt, Northern Tool and Equipment, Milwaukee, and Harley-Davidson. This is a huge project for our welding department. So what their assignment is they've given them a motor, but they're going to have to build the frame. So when they build the frame in June, I believe it's June 12th of next year, they're going to race the bike at the Motorsports Park in Lebanon. So Kyle Petty was there, some very notable people. There's people from Harley-Davidson that's going to help them do a lot. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our students at Laverne. DeWalt and the others gave, I would say, probably more than $5,000 worth of equipment. They left with our CTE expositions full of equipment. And they also gave our students a gift card for $50 to spend at Northern Tool. So you guys, please, the public, reach out to them and show them some love, go spend some money down there or something, because this is the 3rd project that Harley-Davidson and Richard Petty has done. And it's going to be incredible for our kids, an incredible experience. And I'm so proud of our Laverne High School. And I'm proud that Jason Bowers answered my phone call 2+ years ago to come and start the welding program. He was, some of you may know, he was our archery coach at Blackman. Both of his daughters were on the archery team, and I think they went to state champion that year, state that year. But this is incredible, y'all. There was a lot of people there today, and you'll see, I think News Channel 4 was there today. So you'll see a lot about it in the news in the probably next couple of days, but it's going to be it's basically a reality show, and they're going to be recording everything that they do up to the point where they race the motorcycle that they build. So I would like to thank all the sponsors and Tyra Pilgrim and Brian Lewis for putting this together. This is something that they've been working on for a little while, and I'm so proud of our students. So thank you, Madam Chair.
I want to thank you, Tammy, for working behind the scenes to help make this happen too. This was a tremendous kudos to Laverne, to the RCS schools, and I'm just.
I have a few more CTE programs that I'm working on. Dr. Chastain. Oh, let me say this. Dr. Chastain, she has been, y'all, she's the secret rep behind the scenes, and she never wants to be mentioned or anything, but she stayed on this program and got it together and made sure things were the way they should be, safety and everything else. So she is a welder also. I found out that she, during COVID, took welding classes. I want to be like Dr. Chastain. Yes.
Never.
I want to be like Dr. Chastain. So thank you, Dr. Chastain, for helping get this scooted on down the road. And our kids are going to be, this is life-changing. So thank you.
Wonderful. I'm sorry I missed it this morning. Any other, anything you want to bring? Yes, Mr. Vaught.
I hate to bring this back up. I want to go back and visit that straight just a second. On the diagram with the
the road construction. Did I understand you to say they're dropping the elevation 17 feet? What does that do to the sight line of parents coming and going out of that school? Well, how,
I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic.
no,
The sight lines are so bad with those radiuses, when they straighten that road out, they'll actually have closer to a T'd intersection. It's on a funny angle. It's almost a Y.
right.
Plus, it's in a curve. So they're improving the sight lines. Plus, it's on a hill going over the top. So it's going to improve it all the way around.
So coming out from Lake Road to Walden Road, huge improvement right there.
Yes, sir.
What about coming out of the school onto Lake Road? That's what I'm having trouble.
It will
seeing.
right now it's flat because it's at the peak of a hill.
Right.
So that entrance into our parking lot's also on a hill. You've got a hill coming, I guess it'd be east and west on
Right.
Lake Road that's on a hill. That entrance, then it goes over. When Lake Road hits Waldron, going north and south, it's on a hill and in a curve. So both of those sight lines will be improved.
The one on Lake Road is the one I was having trouble
And
visualizing.
the biggest thing for us is, and the reason they need the slope easements on the entrance off a lake is because that's where it's going to taper down to us, because that's dropping as well.
That was
And
my concern.
they've done a lot of work, and I've been sort of picky on keeping the angles get the buses in and out, because that is the entrance that our buses go in and out.
That was going to be.
And that was my big concern, was dragging and getting the angles and the turns right.
And they did design it for a 90-passenger bus, not a 72-passenger bus.
They all do, but they've got bigger radiuses than what TDOT says is required.
All right, because that has been I've noticed in some of our, entrances and exits that since we've gone to the 90-passenger bus overall, there's some of the older schools, some of the site plans, I don't think were designed with that in mind. So if we've got an opportunity to rectify that or make it better, that's what I want to make sure.
That's what we've worked on.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Lee.
Sorry, I'm chirping. I need Poplar Hills new middle school. I'm not naming it yet. I need a name and some colors and a mascot.
We're meeting on Thursday.
That's awesome, because the contractor's wanting to turn colors loose, so if we get that, that'd be great. And I'm speaking out. We had a lot of rain the last 2 days. We have a issue at Poplar Hills. We have had some water on a neighbor across the corner on Blackman and Baker that has gotten close to into their house. We contacted our engineers early this morning. I'm getting out in front because I know some of this is already on Facebook, so that you will know. The engineers have been out there today. Until we receive their reports back, what has been installed, to the best we can tell at this time, what's been installed does meet what they have engineered and designed. So we will be looking for their report to see what our next steps are. But I didn't want you to see that on Facebook and not know what's going on. So that's it.
Anything else? Yes, Ms. Darby.
I would like to wish Mr. Tidwell a happy birthday.
I think the board should sing.
I think we decided we were
I
going
would
to
welcome
sing
that.
every
Please
time.
do.
Everybody ready? On three. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kayla. Happy birthday to you. I want you to know that we have a card here, and they're just a few sweet treats in the break room.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you very much. Y'all did beautiful.
The special group.
Thank you.
Yes.
Special
That was a joke.
Absolutely not.
That's a joke. Okay. I just want to let everybody know, as soon as we leave here, we've got an executive session. It won't take long, but yeah, we do. Okay. Everyone done?
Move to adjourn?